Yo, what's going on? It's your man Rick Dawn. Yo, what's going on, man? I'm ready. I'm ready to fight Eddie Chambers. That's the next fight on the table here. And I just wanted to really quickly show you his statistics. Overall, a 92 to my 85. And that should tell you everything you need to know in terms of how big of a challenge this is going to be. You can see that his left and right hand power are greater than mine. His hand speed is greater than mine. His punch accuracy, just about everything this fighter offers is better than what I have to offer as far as my player is concerned. And what it definitely means is I'm going to have to step up and play better than what I'm capable of playing, I guess you could say. Real world connotations say that at this particular point in my fighter's career, he just came off of his biggest win against Tommy Morrison. And I think at this point, the sky's the limit. Or he has met his match because as the legends have seen him dominate, shall I say, dominate Tommy Morrison, I think now everybody wants a piece of him. Like, hey, I can beat him. I can beat him. So this is the significance of this fight because if you know, you know. Eddie Chambers is a heck of a fighter. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous about this fight because Eddie Chambers is well known for being a all-around fighter. He wasn't someone who was limited in his ability. He has power, he has speed, he has just about everything that makes a complete fighter. He's the complete fighter. And I've been criticized. You know, I've been looking at the comments, everyone's saying, yo, all he do is throw hooks. And you know what? You're right. Because it's a video game. And dare I say, the hooks have been working for me. But you can clearly see the big difference in stature in this fight. And the question will be, will I be able to use my stature to my advantage? But I'm going to try to keep this fight on the outside. And dare I say, Eddie Chambers is doing a good job with space. You see, he fights on the outside, which will probably give me some problems. Maybe. It depends on how I handle it. He's very reserved, too. Like, he's not jumping out there trying to hit you with everything. I'm surprised that landed. But he's making me look kind of silly because, again, he's fighting from the outside in. And he picks his shots. And I think as a result, I'm looking kind of amateurish out here. Because, yeah, he's kind of like picking his spots. He only fights when it's advantageous for him. He only punches when he has the shot and you don't. And that can be a very big challenge. But what I'm going to try to do is overwhelm him with my hooks. You know, a commentator or a viewer was trying to make me feel bad because I threw hooks. And I said, bro, that's my fighting style. You know, it's like you can't criticize somebody if they're 31-0-1. And by the way, he's really good at picking his shots. He doesn't engage unless he has you at a disadvantage. So I think what I'm going to have to do is really work on my jab in this fight. But believe it or not, the hook is not going to work because it doesn't extend far enough. It doesn't extend far enough. What does extend far enough is my jab. So I'm going to have to kind of depend on that a little bit. And I'll go ahead and make a little prediction. I perceive, or I should say, I believe that this fight is going to go all 10 rounds because he doesn't really engage. But I'm also going to predict that I'm going to win unless he catches me with a good shot more than once. Okay, so maybe you want to know what that round was like. It was incredibly difficult. I know you can't tell as you're watching, but that was incredibly difficult for one big reason. He does not engage. And I have to figure that out on the fly. And I think I have the right solution. I'm going to make him come to me and make him engage. All right? He doesn't engage. But, as you can see, now I have him where I want him. Whoa, or do I? I'm going to bring him to me in hopes that I can pick off some of these punches he's throwing. You see how cautious he is? He's very cautious. And when I push forward, he pushes back. I don't like the fight right now because he's not really engaging unless he has he's like very, very, very clinical. Yeah, I got to use my most important punch, you know? Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go in here and use real life boxing tactics, but quite frankly, I got to do what works for me. All right, I'm bringing him to me. And this is the kind of fight in real life I would go to sleep on. Because Eddie Chambers is so careful. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fight his fight. His fight is patience. My fight is, clobber you down. So what I'm going to try to do is stop relying so much on the hook. Woo, excellent job. I don't think the hook is the right move here. And it's ironic that I got that feedback in my last video because I do think the jab is going to get me to where I want to go. And he's better at jabs than me. And that's the part that I don't like at this moment. He's a better jabber than I am. Like, I feel like he's outpunched me to this point because his jab is more accurate than mine. But let's face it, the power in my approach is not in my jab. My power is in my hook. That's why I got to make sure I continue to throw the hook. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the jab and try to bring my hook and incorporate it into the barrage of punches I'm sending. I'm not worried about getting hurt this fight because he doesn't seem to punch enough. But I am afraid of being outpointed and also looking very inaccurate because he's doing a great job defensively. For example, this is like one of my worst looking fights optically. He's blocking just about everything. And he's landing when he wants to. It'd be a shame if I were to lose this fight just because, again, he's just doing a good job with pace. So I'm going to try to keep up with his pace. I would love to see the punch totals right now. I think that would tell me where I am in a fight. But I actually don't want to see him. I want to feel like I'm behind because I do feel like I'm behind. And I realize this. If he's going to win this fight, he's going to have to let his hands go at some point. But you notice, I don't know if you realize it or you see it. He lets his hands go when it's advantageous for him. So he's getting some punches off at my expense. All right, but again, he's got me looking crazy because I'm punching at the ear, but it's mainly because he's so careful, and he should be. Because when I do connect with him, he doesn't look comfortable at all. For every time I've hit him with a hook, he looks completely off balance. Exactly. So when I hit him with the hook, he is completely off balance. And he doesn't throw enough punches to win on points, in my opinion. But I think what he could do is, what he could sneak up and do to me is just hit me with the right shot at the right time. And that is something that I am very, very worried about. He doesn't throw enough punches, I think, to outpoint me. But you see that punch right there? That punch right there could do it. And he also has incredible power. So when he does hit me, I have to take notice of it. I wonder if I can psych him out. What I think I'm going to do this next round is I'm going to keep my hands down and see if he'll shoot up top. Maybe I will have to go in that direction. That's what I need right there. I'm going to keep my hands down to make him think that he has a free shot up top. Oh, he's so fast, though. Oh, wow, that was... You saw how low my health just went down in the game? Did you see that? I'm still recovering from that punch he just hit me with. And I think what that tells me, and I'm glad it happened, it tells me that he has knockout power at any point. And that I don't want... I know it seems like I'm the stronger fighter just based on stature. But I think he got my card. He got my number here. I mean, we have the luxury of actually looking at his stamina, or I should say his stats. So we know he has 100 punch power compared to my 92 or what have you. All right, this guy, I feel like I'm losing, man. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like I'm losing. Because he's really like a tactician. Like, I'm trying to figure out what is the strategy here. When a guy is only blocking, he's not punching, what do you do? And I can't necessarily, there you go. That's what I got to do right there. I got to catch him. I got to catch him in those little moments and make him come to me. I just got to win every round. I don't think this is going to be a knockout because he's too shielded. He's too shelled. Like, he's not allowing himself to get hit. Like right now, look at him. Even when I'm not punching, he's not punching. So, a lot of times when I step in that corner and I back off, the fighter will come towards me and start to attack. But one thing about Eddie Chambers that I'm noticing is that he's incredibly smart. And It's just not, you know, and then he's out punching me because I'm not blocking a lot of his punches because he's able to kind of pick my shots or pick me off a little easier than I am to pick him off because he's a computer for crying out loud, so he can just kind of read me a lot better than I can read him. I'm pretty sure every punch I hit him with, or every punch I throw, the AI or the computer rather is able to kind of get like a read on what I just did. You know what I mean? So if I go body up top, I think the computer is able to read that and make adjustments, you know what I mean, on the fly. Whereas for me, I got to actually figure him out. Now, I haven't used any upgrades in terms of my health in the game. Oh, I got him in the corner. I think that's another strategy that I haven't really utilized. I think get him in. How do I say this without? I'm trying to focus on two things at once. I think getting him in the corner is the strategy that I need to utilize. Now, I will say this. I hope that as the fight continues, he'll start to have to throw punches. All right, I'm hoping. I'm going to actually try to, like, bait him a little bit more than I have in the previous rounds. Like, there's a couple instances where I'm just standing in front of him. He's not even punching. So I'm going to try to, you know, get him to jab or throw something. He's just not punching at all. I'll be very surprised if he's winning, mainly because his punch output doesn't seem to be that, you know. But at the same time, I'm not sure how much I'm hitting him. That's the punch I need to really push out. You know, that punch right there. Because that allows me to hit him and him not hit back. And that adjustment is extremely necessary this early in the fight. We still got enough time that if I'm down, if I utilize that strategy, I might be able to pull something off. See, because now you see what's happening? Because I'm not readily engaging in his space and he realizes that I'm punching him from the outside. The AI that's controlling him is starting to realize, like, okay, I have to switch up my strategy now because my strategy just changed. Definitely hard to hit this guy, man. I have to give him credit. But that punch right there is going to give him fits for the rest of this fight. And I'm going to try to line him up for a nice power punch. Man, I'm, like, begging to see the punch totals in this fight right now. I want to see if I got him on punches. I think I had to, right? Like, he's barely hit me, man. I mean, I'm sorry, not barely hit me, but he's barely threw a punch. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit more, some points into stamina. Here we go, y'all. All right, he's doing a good job with catching me in the spots that I'm not blocking. And it's nothing coming back to him. But I will say, when we do exchange, I feel like I win the exchange in some cases, not all. Like this one right here. I'm hitting him with the stronger, heavier shots. There we go. This is weird. This is my spot right here. Okay, in round 6 is where the change could happen. It could happen. If you look at that last, I got to be more tighter with my shots. Good block on my part. He was very slow with that punch. This might be, well, I'm going to go ahead and say with certainty that this will be the first fight where it goes to distance. Oh, my gosh. I've never not blocked that long. But I'm just trying to bait him into a punch, man, like he's not punching. That was a good sequence for me. But he will go up top, though. He's proven that. And I can't, even though he has short arms, I can't hit this guy, dude. Like, he's able to throw and not get hit. Like, what the heck is that? There we go. But when I do hit him, I got to really tee off. All right, I'm realizing that I might have to sacrifice a couple punches in order to get him open. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't punch at all, okay? He doesn't punch at all when he is open to be hit in return. So I have to almost do this here. I think I figured him out. I think the figure out is just camp out in front of him, dude. Camp out. Camp out until this moment right here happens. It's like fighting the final boss. Good punch on his side. Good punch. I have to give him that. That was a great punch. I just can't let him hit me flush like that. All right, the fight has opened up. I got hope, y'all. I just saw some things that make me feel like there is hope. I gotta watch out for my fighter's health because when he does connect, it is a problem. I have to say that. All right, here we go, y'all. Okay, I got to watch out for my fighter's health because when he does hit, boy, does he hit. I got to kind of pick a pace between not throwing. All right, there we go, y'all. All right, here we go. All right, I think I got him. He's starting to throw a lot more. Unfortunately, I'm a little concerned about the fact that he might be up on punch totals, and that's not good because I predict that this is going to go the distance. But if I'm listening to the play-by-play, the commentary, it makes me believe that they have me up on the scorecards. Boy, I'm so glad I didn't listen to that YouTube commenter guy who was talking about my hooks because let me tell you something. I don't win this fight at all. If I win at all, I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. I don't win this fight without the hook. You need it because the jab is just not strong enough to really hurt this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because he blocks so much. You need the hook. You need it. It's not even optional. You have to throw the hook. All right, because he doesn't put himself in in position to be hurt often. So when you finally get a chance to punch him, you got to make it count. And that is my hook, unfortunately. So sometimes you just got to ignore haters, man, because they don't got nothing else to do. And you got to do what works for you, bro. I'm learning something. Great punch, even if it was slow. And right now his hands are down. His mouth is open. I think I got a chance to win this fight here. He's starting to make some mistakes. I got to be careful because I'm making them too. It's about who's making the more or the least costly mistakes that's going to win this fight. But I think now he's fighting my fight versus me fighting his. And I think that's something I can hang my hat on. I do not want to put points into my character's health because I feel like stamina is going to win this fight. But at the same time, if I'm not careful, he is going to get me. All right, I got to use my hook. It is what it is. I can't get hit flush, though. Got to be careful about what he's throwing. He's throwing some nice shots. All right, he's standing there with his hands down a couple times. Again, I have to throw that hook. It just is what it is. Sometimes you just got to do what works for you. In this fight, it is what it is. I'm doing a decent job. I won't say good. I'm doing a decent job. Oh, yeah. Every time he winds up, he's getting tagged, and I would imagine that he realizes that. Great job on his part. The hook is the only punch that's working for me. It's crazy. Oh, God, I needed that. I needed that. Here, hook it up. Hook it up. Hook it up. Hook him up. Hook him up. Hook him up. A knockout would be perfect right now, and it just didn't come. It just didn't come. I tried it. Good shot on his part. He got me right where he wants me as well. This is a fight for real. All right, I got to be careful. He's lining up some good shots on me. I think now is a good time to line up some nice, what do you call it? Some jabs and straights. But he can't afford to make any more mistakes. His health is just not going to allow it. He needs to definitely I don't want to give him any pointers, but the point is he needs to start to line up his shots a little more accurately at this point. So the change in the fight happened when I allowed him to maybe, get a couple shots off here and there. When I stood in front of him and tried to counter what he was throwing. Right here. Oh, my gosh, I pushed the wrong button. You ain't going to believe it, yo. I pushed the modifier that switches my stance, and I'm telling you when I say this, I had him dead to rights. I had him dead to rights. Seriously, like he was just standing there with his mouth open. All I had to do was connect with a punch, and I literally pushed the wrong button at the wrong time. But as you can see, I just put some points here in my health, and I think I'm good. There's 2 more rounds left. I know what I got to do. I got to stand in front of this guy and give him an opportunity to hit me. And then when the opportunity presents itself, I gotta capitalize. Right now, I feel like I'm doing just that. I got to calm down. Right there, that was a good sequence for him. Even better with that. Here we go. I wish I can throw some other stuff at him, but I just got to do what works. Like this. This is working for me. That's what's working. So you have to do what works. I don't care what nobody says, man. Because it's like when you drive and the people behind you are honking because you're going too slow. But let me tell you what's going to happen if you get pulled over. They're going to walk away, and they're not going to stop and help you out. So if I lose this fight, the person worrying about my hooks is not going to even, he's not going to be there anymore. It's just going to be me with a loss on my record. So guess what? I'm going to do what works for me. That's what I'm going to do. Criticize me as you might. When I got that win in the win column, who cares about how I got it? Let that be a lesson, right? Who cares how you did it? Just long as you did it. Let the haters hate, man. I got to be careful, though, because, oh, yeah, he's gassed. All right, but he can't take any more of these too many of these hooks, and he's taking a lot of them. And, for real, I'm going to be real. Like, I wanted to fight him in a more tactical manner. But let's face it, he doesn't punch. He doesn't punch. So what I'm supposed to do? And he's a great blocker. So I can't. What's the strategy there? Oh, that's it. That's it. I knew it. I saw it. Oh man, I gotta call a spade, man. The strategy worked. This was a fight that was destined to go 10 rounds. He's mad, and he's definitely all right. One more round left, and I love where my fighter is in terms of the things that he has. For my stamina, I'm going to empty the clip, and I'm going to put some points in my character's health, and we're going to hold on tight, baby. Here we go. I'm going to try to overwhelm him now. I think this is a good time to start throwing jabs because I don't think that he's in a position to fight tactically. I think he has to throw punches if he's going to have a chance of winning this fight. I think for certain he's down on the cards. And I think he knows that. He has to throw punches. You're not going to win because you're Eddie Chambers. Great job to him, though. Not sure how he did it, but we got him. And you know what it is, man. Of course, my enemy wants me to fight in a fight that I'm not, accustomed to. He wants me to throw jabs. He wants me to throw hooks. No, I got to do what works for me. Shout out to Eddie Chambers. I'm not sure how he's pulling this off. He is good punch on his side. I don't know how he pulled that off. He can't take. You see this hook? These hooks he's getting knocked. He's getting knocked senseless with these hooks. I feel like they should throw the flag or throw something at this point. Like I'm not sure if him taking so many hooks to the head. You look at how he fights. He's just not accustomed to taking hooks. You know what I'm saying? This could be a big reason as to why he fights the way he fights, because a hook is very damaging to him. I don't know how I pulled that win off, and I'm not sure how I got the knockout. But I got a clue. I'm gonna go with the hooks, baby. It was the hooks. That was probably my biggest win because it's one of the few fights where I said to myself, I'm gonna lose. If we look at the judges' scorecards, I was going to win this fight on numbers. That makes me extremely happy. That lets me know that I never had anything to worry about except for not getting a knockout. That was the only thing I was concerned about. One of the biggest things I was concerned about. I was concerned about losing, but I felt like if I could win on points, I would still hate the fact that I didn't, sustain my perfect knockout record. 32-0, 32 knockouts. He is looking like the greatest of all time right now. Let's face it. He's looking like that type of that caliber of fighter. I didn't like fighting Eddie Chambers. I wanted a real fight. I just felt like there was not a lot of opportunity to showcase any ability or skill because he fought so cautiously. That's a silly criticism considering that, oh my gosh, there's George Foreman, everybody. I want to fight George Foreman, man. Can I fight George Foreman? Why do I want to fight George Foreman? Because of the fight I just had. The fight I just had was more tactical. It was about, picking your punches. And I want to fight a real fight, man, where I'm like, I'm in danger of losing. I want to fight that kind of fight. And who better to get that type of work in with than the great George Foreman? I'm trying to pick this thing out perfectly where I can, I think this might be it here. Let's try this. I want the opportunity to fight with 2 training sessions. All right, this is weird. I hate when I'm trying to figure this out. It's so like, I wish there was a way to just decide or figure this out without having to go through this process. You probably don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure I'm not spending or wasting too much time in my calendar year. And There's only one way to do it. You know what? It's irritating because I can't quite nail it. Let's see what happens. Maybe what I'm missing is that they're making me train twice. Maybe that's what I'm missing. That could be it. I think they're making me train. Okay, that was not something that I thought was going to happen. I think they're making me train twice. That's the only way that explains why I'm not seeing a option to only have one training session between these fights. It could be there. It is. Okay, see now they're not giving me the option to have two. So it's weird. It's one of these weird things in this game that I just wish wasn't there. But it just is what it is. I'm just gonna have to go through this process until I can find the perfect line of delineation, like from 1 to 2. And no clue as to why they made this so complicated. Why can't I just see this from like this menu right here? I should be able to see how many training sessions I'll have between the fight. But whatever, it's just a design choice, I guess you could say. And the part of me wants to save the George Foreman fight for another video, but I feel like at this point, why not? All right, they're not doing it the way I expect it to be done. But I will say this: I do want to fight this fight in pay-per-view. Okay, I don't want to just have this be a ordinary fight. I feel like fighting George Foreman is a big deal. He is a fighter that I look up to, and without question, I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And it's an honor to be able to fight him in the game with my fighter. And the reason I'm going to include this fight into this episode is because I just didn't like that first fight. I just felt like it was a snooze fest, if you will. And I'm going to add chapters to this video so that you can skip over all of that and jump straight to the George Foreman fight, because that's going to be where the real fight is. Yes, Eddie Chambers is a legend, but let's face it, he in this game was more about self-preservation. And I want to fight. I want to fight. I want a competition where we're throwing some punches. And I think that George Foreman is going to be exactly what I need. All right, I'm not going to worry about my hand speed at this juncture, even though I probably should. It's like the only thing that I really, really need to focus on. We got the heavy bag. I will lose. All right, I think we should go here. Let's go here. Let's raise the right hand punch power, because we lose what? Foot speed. I don't even invest in foot speed, so it's not a big deal. I don't even worry about that part of my fighter. He's slow, so be it. And I think George Foreman is also slow, so it kind of levels itself out. All right, we got 91. I really want to work on my hand speed, but not at the detriment of. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because then I'll have 75 hand speed, and I think that's a great stopping point. All right, there we go. And I got 90 punch power in both hands, but my hand speed is now 75. That's not terrible. All right, here we go, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this fight with George Foreman. I'm excited. This is one of my first big challenges. All right, real world connotations. We just came off of the fight with Eddie Chambers, and at this particular point, it's time to put ourselves in a strong, unbeatable challenge. There's no way I win this fight. I'm saying it before the fight starts. The King is going to lose. This is going to be his first loss. That's my mindset right now. I know I should not be thinking that way, but I feel like for someone watching this, they want to kind of know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this will be my first loss. Why? Because it's George freaking Foreman, man. Like, George Foreman, whether it be the game or in real life, he has unmatchable power. And if I'm not mistaken, he's not the kind of fighter to shy away. My fight against Eddie Chambers, the guy was shying away, running away, picking and popping. We were able to get the knockout, but it just came as a result of throwing hooks and, kind of setting him up. When it comes to George Foreman, he's the kind of fighter that's going to clobber you. He's going to come towards you. At least that's how the real George Foreman is. How he's going to fight in the game, I have no idea. I'm assuming that he's going to fight like his real-life counterpart. But by the way, rest in peace to George Foreman, a legend upon legends, a legend to legends. It is such an honor to fight George Foreman. Like, I can't even put it into words, honestly. Huge honor. All right, he is 33-10 in my universe, and I don't know what to expect. I just know this guy's going to be a monster. If I'm not mistaken, this is based off the younger version of George Foreman, so he's going to be both fast and strong. He's coming right at me. That's what the kind of fight I was hoping for. Only problem is he has power to go along with that speed. I just want to make sure he doesn't hit me in the face. And look at it. He's not blocking. This is kind of what I was hoping for. And he doesn't want to fight a person like me. This is not a good fight for him. I'm going to tell you why. Because I am going to take advantage of what he's allowing me to have. But here's the problem. Oh, my. I don't like this guy. I don't like this fight. Oh, my God. Okay, all right. This is what I was afraid of. He doesn't, like, stop to breathe. And that could be a problem. All right, but if you just saw that Eddie Chambers fight, this is the kind of fight you was hoping for. I can actually diversify my punches because I know he's going to actually come and fight me. He's not going to run. And this is not going to go the distance. Either he's going to knock me out or I'm going to knock him out. That's it. That's the only two options. All right, here we go. Good job. He's doing a heck of a job with body shots. Great. I didn't expect that, honestly. He's a really good body punch thrower. But he doesn't block. I do like that. This is kind of how Ali handled him. He allowed him to punch himself out. He has these spurts in the. Oh my gosh, how did he even land that? Did you see how disgusting that punch was? Whoa, he walked right into it. You know, let's face it. Throughout history, they've kind of pegged George Foreman as like a power punch only fighter. You know, not one that was really intelligent. This is how Ali supposedly beat him, you know, just kind of outsmarting him, if you will. And I plan to do a little bit of the same because I know that's a stereotype. I'm just going to kind of play into it a little bit. I'm so glad we went up in the rankings instead of fighting backwards. We went up to fight number 5. I thought that was a heck of a decision. How would you fight George Foreman? Let's see if we can, like, out-jab him a little bit, you know? Like, I feel like I have been depending a lot on the hook. Let's see if we can box him and outsmart him a little bit. This round, you're going to see me do a little bit more boxing. You know, you're not going to see me Eddie Chambers this guy. I'm not going to not throw hooks. You think I'm crazy? Like, that's my bread and butter. But I'm saying I'm going to try to break him down from every angle, meaning I'm gonna throw some hooks. I'm going to throw some body shots. I'm going to throw some jabs. I'm going to throw some hooks, uppercuts, everything, some power shots. I'm going to back off. I'm going to come back in and try to set him up. I'm going to do a little bit of everything. This is how I wish I could fight. But it depends on my opponent. If my opponent is not going to allow me to, you know, get off, I'm not going to sit there and allow the clock to go out. I got 32 knockouts and 32 wins for a reason. Because I attack. And I attack with force. That's my character's, you know, go-to. To try to appease a viewer and get away from what makes me who I am, that's just not me. That's just not what I do. I think George Foreman took a lot of punches this round. And I think that my diversification in punches and my patience even, good punch by him. I don't know how I allowed that slow punch to hit me in the face, but it did. And it just got worse as I continued to talk. And this is what I am afraid of when I'm fighting George Foreman. I think I started off well. Then he started to block better than I expected, you know. Good job by him. Good job by him this round. I definitely started off with some fire, and he kind of quotes that fire a little bit. But this is who my fighter is. You know, just how George Foreman made his bones with being a power puncher and being hook crazy, actually. This is like hooker versus hooker, if that makes sense. Like, we're both two fighters who love to throw the hook. As you can see, he just throws a hook to the body, which I never do, by the way. This is one person who loves to throw hooks versus another. He took a ton of punches in that last round. Now, I typically allow myself to build up my points, and I'm going to kind of do a little bit of the same here. But I saw what worked well for me. What worked well for me in this fight was diversification. He just didn't know where the punches were coming from. If you watch that second round, at least the early parts of it, you'll see that I had punches coming everywhere. It wasn't just the hook, actually. It was like the uppercut. It was the body shot. It was the hook. It was a little bit of everything. And I think he struggled to keep up with that pace. And you're at your worst fighting George Foreman when you stand still. You know, that's when you're at your worst. When you stand still he's going to pick you apart. If you look at a lot of his highlights as far as the young Foreman, a lot of times he overwhelmed his opponent with hooks, of all things. And I think this is almost like a passing of the guard almost. It's, look, he even out-hooked me in that particular sequence. I don't know if you saw that. We were both throwing hooks, but his hooks connected with more ferocity. All right, I feel like I thought I was going to win in that second round. He's done a lot to kind of gain some ground here. Number one is he's improved his defense tremendously. Like a lot of the punches I was throwing before, it's just not landing like they were before. Now you see why I don't use a lot of or worry about foot speed so much. I kind of fight a certain way. Good punch by him. He's actually doing a great job. I'm not going to act like I don't notice it. It's like, we're the same kind of fighter, and it's cool to actually have this fight. I like to throw the hook. That's my favorite punch, the left and right hook. And he also loves to throw the hook. Now, I said it before, I'll say it again. I think I had my most success when I was diversifying my punches. So I don't think relying on the hook exclusively is the right strategy here. But at the same time, I got to do what I got to do. George Foreman did a heck of a job that round. I was doing a good job for a minute. And then he kind of switched up his whole style on me, and now I'm finding myself doing more blocking than I am throwing punches. And I don't know if you saw his damage. I think that happens when a fighter is older. Like he's taking a lot of damage, but I don't know if he's taking as much as I've. Good punch. He tried it. I'm not sure if he took his. He's trying to go for that uppercut, and I'm just not gonna let it happen. All right, his hands are starting to slow down. I think this is my chance to really pick him apart. The punch output has definitely slowed. Woo-hoo-hoo, you saw that duck? I feel like I did something with that. Oh yeah, you got to block that. I want to hit him right here. That's the spot I want to really abuse this round. I want to abuse that body, man. I feel like it's there. And the punches have ceased, y'all. I think I got him where I want him. There we go. Heck of a punch, Rich. Good punch. Good job. He's doing a heck of a job on body punches. I got to give him that. Okay, he's doing a heck of a job on body shots. I got to really take note of that. It's like we're playing chess right now, but it's like two power punchers playing chess. So not a lot of setup, if you know what I mean. All right, his hands are down. You know what? I think I got to just go for what I know. This is definitely a spot in which I have George Foreman slightly vulnerable. The problem is I don't have the IQ, the fighting IQ, to really abuse this guy at this point. So I'm going to actually have to agree with that one guy who said all I do is throw hooks. You know what? You're right. I do. And you know what? I think I'm okay with that. Sometimes you got to realize you're a lineman and you're not a running back. I'm not a finesse fighter. I'm not a fighter who picks off my opponent. I'm not any of those things. You know what I am? I am a power puncher who throws in volume. And you know what? I have to accept that as my character, my DNA as a fighter. And I think a lot of people, when they hear criticisms like that, like, hey, all you do is throw hooks, they try to change. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually lean into it. I'm going to buy into the stereotype. That's who I am. That is who I am. I am a hook puncher. I am a hook thrower. I am a volume hook thrower. That's who I am as a fighter. And if that's the case, that's just the case. I'm not going to become a zebra overnight if I'm a lion. You know what I mean? All right, let's try to outsmart him though. You know how this turns out typically. He's not even punching. I got him so afraid of the knockout and the power that he's not even throwing. And his punch speed has dwindled. He's still Foreman though, so I got to be careful. There you go. Oh, I did not mean to do that. That was the worst timing for that. I'm telling you, I had him. I had him. He was done. I had him. I don't know how that happened. I had him. Like, he was done. I'm telling you, he was done. All right, here we go. He's just doing a great job of preserving himself. All right, there we go, y'all. There we go. Good punch. I hate this version of Foreman, man. Like, he can pick you off like nobody else's business. There you go. Good punch. Okay, this fight is not over. I like to think I've won it, but I haven't, and that's the sad truth. Great punch. There we go. Beat that drum. There we go. They needed that. Oh, my gosh. Came at the worst possible time. All right, Foreman is definitely hurting right now. If you look at his damage gauge, you'll see that this round should be it. Here we go. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to really make him change his tactic. By that, I mean I'm going to have to just kind of catch him off guard. And I don't think he's expecting a lot of body shots. So this round, you'll see. If I don't get knocked out, of course, because I'm flirting with, getting knocked out. I hate to say it, but I am. He's like one punch away from knocking me out. But I'm going to really change his perspective on my fighting style. I'm going to go body crazy. I think right now he thinks I'm going to go hook crazy. And if I do throw a hook, it'll be at his body. And I think by doing that, it'll change his perspective and make him start to block low. And it'll open up a couple more shots for me that I don't currently have. All right, here we go. I'm going to start targeting the body a little bit more. There we go. Good body shot. Good job. He's doing a heck of a job with body punches. All right, I'm going body crazy, man. And just hoping I don't pay for it. Great block on my part. That's it. That was it. Good job, Foreman. Good job. He tried it. I went underwater, man, and I started to really attack the body, and it seemed like it just threw off his balance a little bit. That was it, man. Heck of a win right there. Just happy to get the W against a legend. All right, I think at this point in my career, I've shut up my doubters. I've quieted my detractors. The only doubters and detractors left are those who are saying, hey, all he does is throw hooks. This kind of happened in the career of Deontay Wilder, where they said, hey, he only has one punch. But let's look at my punch totals, okay? When it comes to my hooks, I threw 118 left hooks. But you know what I can say as a counter? I threw 117 straights. So if I am a dominant hook puncher or thrower or what have you, you can also say the same about my straights. So I think I, in some ways, quiet the criticisms because, yes, I threw 118 hooks, but I threw 117 straights. So if I am a person who throws a lot of left hooks, then I'm also someone who throws a lot of straights. So make up your mind. And then, okay, as far as my right hooks, I threw 48 right hooks. But guess what? I threw 49, which is more, 49 jabs. So I feel like the criticisms are unfair. As you can see, my punches are diversified. Yes, I throw hooks, but I also throw straights and jabs. The end. I think that solves that debate. I throw what I throw, and my punches are diversified enough that, as you can see, I throw a lot of straights. I throw a lot of jabs. There you go. All right, I've solved it in my own head. I was a little concerned about that. No, I don't think that's a real criticism. You just got to look at the numbers because, you know, when you're looking at me fight, you do see a lot of hooks. But no, what you're seeing is a lot of my hooks connect. Oh, my gosh. Don't want to fight this guy at all. Not a big fan of fighting James Toney. He is absolutely someone. He's a champion. Wait a minute. Okay. We got to accept the fight. I think that's it. We have to accept the fight against James Toney. Are you kidding me? If he's calling me out, I have to accept the fight. Even though I don't think that my fighter is ready for this type of challenge, we're going to accept it. I think it's time. And I want to give myself 2 training sessions. But here's what I was talking about. You see how it goes from 1 to 2? That's what I was trying to do in that little moment before the Foreman fight. All right, we're going to fight against James Lights Out Tony for a championship, apparently. All right, I want to confirm this because I'm not actually sure. I would like to confirm that he is actually a champion because that would be a big deal. All right, here we go. I want to confirm that. I'm not exactly sure. Yes, James Toney is a champion. That means that my next fight is going to be for a championship. I'm gonna tell you who I'm running from. There's not. You probably think you know. You probably think I'm running from Mike Tyson. No, I'm actually running from this guy right here, Lennox Lewis. I'm afraid of Lennox Lewis in real life and on this game. I hate fighting Lennox Lewis. Never want to fight him if I ever can help it. But thankfully, James Toney is the one who called us out, so we'll see what happens. James Toney is a great fighter in real life and on this game. I've actually had the the displeasure of fighting James Toney. He's not a fun fight in any capacity, in any way, shape, or form. He's a great blocker. He has great strength, and most importantly, he has amazing speed. So I never want to fight James Toney if I can help it. All right, but one thing that does stand out that I'm happy about is that I get the opportunity to train twice. The big question is how am I going to utilize my training sessions in order to prepare for that fight, which I'm going to actually preserve until the next episode. What I will do in this episode, however, is I will do my training, so I can share that with you if you want to watch it. Otherwise, have a good day. But I'm going to do my training in this episode here because I think when I come back to this series, I want to jump right into my fight with James Toney. But how big of a deal is it that in my next episode, you could see me become the champion? Unfortunately, in order to become a champion in my next episode, I have to take on, by far, my strongest competitor and opponent yet. All right? That's the part that doesn't sit so well. All right, here we go. How do you prepare for a fight against James Toney? Let me tell you. It's not as easy as it looks. All right, I got a bad idea. This is really a bad idea. I'm thinking about, because I don't know what else to put my time and attention into. I can put it here, right? But it will bring my punch accuracy down. Perhaps this is where I want to go. I think this is where, yeah, we're going to go here. I want my punch accuracy to be at 90. All right? So, yeah, I'm going to lose a little bit of his head movement, and I'm going to lose a little bit of his block strength. But it's okay. I have so much of that it shouldn't necessarily hurt. Like my block strength is 100. I can stand to lose some points there. Okay. What I don't necessarily like is the fact that I think his head movement goes down, but I think again that's okay because I don't really fight that way anyway. All right. I don't move my head as I fight. Occasionally I do, but it's not a routine thing. So we're gonna put 2 training sessions into that, and we're going to kind of cap off my left and right hand punch power at 90. I don't think I need to put any more training into those particular spaces. But now that my punch accuracy is at 89, I feel like my fighter is a lot more dangerous. Do have to watch out for my block strength, but to me it is not a big deal. In fact, I would argue that from this point forward I need to invest in that particular space there. Punch accuracy and foot speed and stuff like that. I think that's the next step for my fighter. All right. That is where I'm going to cap it. The next time you see an episode from me, I'll be fighting against Lights Out James Toney, baby. And we're going to look at he's 100 everything. This is our next opponent right here. And it's going to be fun. All right. He doesn't do well with cuts. As you can see, he cuts easily. So that is something that I'm going to 75 swelling. So these are some things that I can definitely take advantage of. All right. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you on the next one, y'all. Peace.